welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading channel. You know, today we're off the homestead on a road trip. We're up in Lynden, Washington to the Lynden Tractor and Engine Show. We start out here, we get a sea of John Deeres. This is a really excellent show, been going on for many years. And it's usually even bigger than this because people from Canada used to come down, but they can't come across the border with the equipment. So anyway, just about every kind of John Deere you can see here, from way back in the teens up to stuff from the 70s. And there's a bunch of unrestored ones back over there, an old John Deere crawler. There's a big thresher in the background too. It's one of the biggest threshers I've seen. Okay, well, we have Alice Chalmers tractors here, and that started in 1930 when a bunch of the companies merged together to form Alice Chalmers. And the tractor company they had before was Rumley. We'll go take a look at some of those here pretty quick. This one is the first Alice Chalmers model that came out. That's a Model U. Very modern tractor. It's the first tractor to have rubber tires of any tractor in the U.S. And then you look down here, there's a WD and some more modern ones, and way down there, some big ones. Really a nice selection of tractors. This WD here, it's similar to what I used to run. I ran a 1934 WC for my uncle on his orchards. Same identical tractor, just a little bit more modern brake system on this one than ours, but same basic tractor, same drill layout, and that was used for years and years and years. But, okay, well, we'll come down and take a look at some bigger ones here. Okay, well, here's some of the later bigger tractors. When Alice Chalmers wanted to get into the diesel tractors like others were coming along, they didn't have a diesel engine division, so they bought out the Buda Engine Company. That's where the line of diesel engines came from. You can see that later tractors here have a die-cast frame, and some of the older ones still have a channel type steel frame. And the bigger ones still use channel frames. And there's a big 70-20 down there. But anyway, they made some big, powerful tractors. In about 1982, they went bankrupt and went out of business. Okay, well, this is what's called a Rumley Dual, and this is what evolved from a big tractor. Starting to make a more modern standard type tractor. This has a Waukesha engine in it. It's a 1930. This is the last tractor that said Rumley on it before it became Alice Chalmers. Anyway, we'll be back in a bit. Okay, well, we're going to talk about Oliver Hart Power tractors. Hart Power was a tractor division that became part of the Oliver Corporation in 1930. The earlier tractors were two-cylinder with an engine that was horizontal. This style came out in the late 30s. This is probably a 1937 because it has both names on it. 1938, they just called them straight Olivers. If you look in our older videos, you'll see our Oliver 80, which is basically the same tractor as this. This is a next size up. Basically, it's physically identical. And this one here is a row crop. This one is unusual and it has a diesel engine in it, which is really rare for the early tractors like this. But anyway, We got some more modern ones down here. Got a four-wheel drive one here. That was a real trend-setting tractor when it came out. Everybody else had to copy it. And the one down here has got a Detroit diesel in it. Model Super 99. It's got a 3-cylinder Detroit diesel engine with a blower on it. These were really powerful tractors for their era, but they were also super noisy. Detroit diesels have a resonant sound when they get to a certain RPM, and if you get in the wrong spot, it'll actually make your inner ear go goofy and you lose your balance. I think we'll be running one of those day in and day out. It's got a big long stack on it. We'll come down and take a look at some more of them here. So this is what they call a high crop model. It's really high off the ground. These were used a lot in rice fields and things like that. 6-cylinder diesel. Diesel engines in these were designed by Oliver and built by Waukesha. Anyway, we'll come down and take a look at some more here in a minute. Okay, originally the crawler tractors that Oliver made were called Cleatracs. They bought the Cleatrac company in 1946. This one is unusual. It has a 6-cylinder engine in it. It's called an OC6. They used a Continental engine in it instead of the Hercules engine like almost everything else they used. Anyway, we've got some more down here. Okay, this is a very unusual tractor. It's an Oliver 1850. Instead of having direct mechanical all-wheel drive, this is what they call front wheel assist. It has hydraulic drive motors right here, and hydraulic lines come to it. That worked really good in soft soils. That way the differential didn't have to slip and lock up and things like that. These will just slip a little bit to maintain your traction, so they use these in wet areas a lot. And down here, got more Olivers. White Truck Company bought Oliver out and bankrupted them. Then they reorganized them and started selling the tractors again, but they didn't use the Oliver name, so they used the White name. So there's a White Field Boss 270. And there's a Model 2105. And then when that went under, it became a part of AGCO Corporation, which is still in business today. Okay, well, we're in a sea of international tractors here. We have a huge turnout for these. They're everywhere. In the background, you can hear a big rumbling oil pull firing up there. Okay, well, here we have some JI case tractors. Different sizes and years. They started out making plows, and they started making steam tractors. They made some of the biggest steam tractors ever made. Oliver Corporation too originally started as Oliver Chill Plow Works, so a lot of these early companies, as they emerged, started as plow companies and expanded into tractors and everything else, threshers. Anyway, you can see it clear down here. Okay, well, here we have some Ford tractors. Ford started building tractors in 1918, and since somebody else had coined the name Ford tractor, they couldn't use it, so it's Fordson, Henry Ford and Son. Anyway, this one here, got a Ford V8 in it. And there was a conversion kit. A lot of people used to put flathead Ford V8s in. It's called a funk conversion. And then they had a high and low speed in the differential, so they had like 8 speeds. Then you can see the different models down here. Ford got absorbed partially by Fiat, and eventually Fiat bought them out totally. And then it became part of New Holland, Fiat New Holland, and then phased the Ford name out. But anyway, I'm going to take some more pictures of some more tractors here. Okay, well, here's a Cleatrac, 20 horsepower. stands for Cleveland Tractor Company. They started making tractors really early. In 1946, Oliver bought them out, and they made them until about 1966. These are a tractor that I collect. I really like clay tracks. And then we have a bigger one here. This is a GG. And you see it says Oliver on it. So that's probably mid-50s. Okay, well here we have a bunch of Minneapolis Moline tractors. They were a big player for years, and then they got merged into other companies and then phased out. But you see a bunch of them here too. This engine in the background is an unusual piece. It's a WIT. It's a mid-20s engine. It's 25 horsepower. That's the biggest engine they made. They used to make diesel engines also, single-cylinder diesel engines that were used in a lot of applications, and were around until about 1948 or so. But it's rare to find a big engine like that. And then here we have just some smaller engines. Over here we've got a Hercules engine, and Fairbanks Morse right here, and McCormick Deering here and here. And Savvy over there. Big red engine there is a pretty red engine that's really old. Well, here we got some antique washing machines. This one here says it's a 1909, very early electric motor. Most of these had flat belt pulleys and run by gas engines on farms. Has a ring of rollers. The tension for these is done by these. There's a spring and tighten those down. That puts the tension against the rollers to squeeze the water out of them. This one's odd because it shakes back and forth like this. And you come over here. 1917 wood roll washer, and so you wash it on one side and run it through the wringers, and you go to the other side to rinse it and then take them out and hang them up. This one is kind of unusual. It's got a deal for using a hand lever, and then there's a flat belt pulley here for a gas engine also. You can see this jointed mechanism here. It rolls down and moves it back and forth, and there's pieces down in there rotate back and forth, and then it also lifts it up and down, so it does both at the same time to completely close. Here's a hand power here. You put your clothes in and put the doors and move the handle back and forth. There's some little veins in there that slosh the water around. Here's a nice big old hit in this engine. You can hear it coasting there, and the exhaust valve is held open. It draws in some air and fires, and it'll coast until the governor lets the arm off, and the exhaust valve will shut down and draw in a fresh mixture of fuel and air. There's a mechanical fuel pump right down here. And carburetors down on the very front or the bottom. These were really economical for like on a saw rig, if you're not cutting the engine, you can just coast by drawing the air in through the exhaust. It keeps the cylinder cool so they don't get very hot. You can see how slow this thing runs. A couple hundred RPM maybe. And you're going to draw the air in right there and poof. That's how a hit-and-miss engine works. Okay, well we have a skidder here. What these were used for was pulling logs up out of canyons and stuff, and there's a, behind me you can see these big drums here. And one of the lines was for pulling the stuff in, and the other line would go up to a spar tree. And they could lift the stuff up and drag it out of the canyons. And then when they wanted to move it, they would hook a cable to a big tree and drag it through the woods. And I think that they're steam engines. So anyway, here we have the flywheel, and we got the connecting rod here. It comes over to the cylinder here. And you change the valve gear on them and stuff to get forward and reverse. You can stop them instantly and make them run backwards or run the line in and out. This is used as a clutch to engage the drum. There's a brake on the back of it here. So when you want to stop, you pull the brake on. And you have all these valves for controlling the steam. Here you have a mechanical lubricator. Lubing all the different fittings and stuff. Upright boiler. Like I say, it was made in Seattle. So this is a real part of history here. Well, that'll conclude our video for today, but one little thing we wanted to talk about here is this little Alice Chalmers garden tractor. Alice Chalmers didn't make these, they're made by Simplicity. And if it looks really similar to my garden mark that's in all my videos, it's the same chassis with a different hood. Same Briggs & Stratton engine. Same steering, everything. Chassis is completely 100% the same. But anyway, it's really nice just to be out and see all the neat old tractors and engines and hear all the great stories people have to tell about running all the old equipment nowadays. So anyway, we'll see you in the next video.